Hey, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon here with a quick update. We're not going to make this nearly as long as some of them that we've had. I just figure it's probably simpler to do a Facebook Live and send it to all these locations, Instagram Live, Twitter Live, YouTube Live, the whole thing, as opposed to just take the time to send all these. Let's just kind of talk about here kind of where we stand versus where we stood. And where we stand as far as tonight is concerned is very similar. Where we stand for tomorrow is as well. It's just confidence in all of the above continuing to be reaffirmed. So this is our severe weather risk for today, largely for our area unchanged. A little bit of a pullback to the west on kind of the west side of this, back out west of Vicksburg and Natchez in particular there. But largely, this is the same risk that we showed you a little bit ago. Same tornado risk, and tornadoes being our primary concern for tonight. So that is largely the same as what we talked about earlier. Of course, encourage you to share this update with other people. Here is our previous severe weather risk as issued um, later or earlier today. This is what has changed with the latest update, the addition of that exceptionally rare level 5 out of 5 severe weather and tornado risk in particular as we look toward tomorrow. That was anticipated, as you probably could tell last night, and obviously what we said this morning. I will say, I probably would have placed it slightly farther northwest of where they have it. Either way, the good folks there at the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, recognizing again the opportunity, the consistent chances for severe weather and tornadoes with the multiple rounds. Just kind of working the math on this one, allowing to that upgrade there to a high risk. This is the previous update for tornadoes, and you can see it is that tornado update there where you see the pink. We're talking about not just the potential, when we're looking about the probability of a tornado within, a certain distance of a point. 33 to 44% is a fairly high number, right? And anywhere where you have those black dashed lines, hatched area would be another way to describe it. It's the way they describe it there, is potential for strong tornadoes. So again, your odds, your math in that pink center area are the greatest, as they were earlier. But I would still say the math on this, while it doesn't math up enough farther north and west on their assessment, I probably would have pulled this a little farther north and west. That's essentially the same as standing in the stands, and your kids playing baseball, and you're like, that was a strike. No, it's a ball. We're not going to argue balls and strikes on this. The reality is that if you're even close to this, and if you're watching this in our viewing area, the threat for severe weather and significant tornadoes increases. I would not feel any better about myself in Tupelo and Greenwood than I did earlier, simply because they placed a high severe weather risk where they have placed it. This was the wind risk as they outlined it earlier for Saturday. You'll notice that they have adjusted that somewhat as far as the wind potential, bringing the overall wind potential down just a little bit more and kind of adjusting the overall shape of that outlook for tomorrow. And of course, there's also large hail potential as well. It's something I haven't shown a whole lot. I do want to make sure we kind of pop that up on here. The hail potential for tomorrow, in some cases, in excess of 2 inches in size, possibility out of these supercell rotating thunderstorms. So where do we stand? Again, this was our projection that we were looking at earlier. As I kind of click this, we've had a number of additional hours of information to kind of look ahead on what to see, and in a lot of ways, timing remains similar to what we're thinking. We expect what we call convective initiation of those thunderstorms starting, 3 p.m. or so. They really kind of start going western portions of Louisiana, locations back that direction. Projections still kind of timing that out like that, and they also continue to bring in those individual thunderstorms into our area as we go into the overnight hours. So you're looking at 10 p.m. here, 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, one thing that is evident here on this to me, and maybe to you as well, is the fact that a majority of these, there's a slight preference on the south end of this. I don't know that I can say for sure that I fully agree with that, but I don't necessarily disagree. As you can see, those helicity, those rotation tracks, certainly a greater preference on some of those just a little bit south. And if we go back and look kind of run to run, like what have the models done each time we get new data in here, you can see there have been quite a few of those throughout the morning that have been pretty consistent on the southern fringe of our area of not just a tornado, but perhaps a strong rotating thunderstorm that's long lived in that zone. So that's what we're kind of watching down there, Noxubee, Winston, Pickens County, Alabama. I don't want to imply more specificity than is reality. But that is to say that there's still a potential for strong tornadoes in this overnight period this evening. So again, from basically 7 to midnight or so is when that area we're looking at here is definitely showing up. If we go back to the precipitation mode, and again, we're not going to make this as long as what we did this morning or what we sometimes do. Additional storm development does continue throughout the overnight hours, and so there does remain a potential to produce tornadoes in that time period as well. The thing that I don't want to give too much false hope here is you can see how I have one of those storms closer to Memphis trying to produce tornadoes on just this particular perspective and more down south. And I can show you 10 million other different perspectives on kind of how things look on this. So that's one thing that I don't want to kind of overemphasize is just that there are going to be different perspectives all that show different things, different positioning on where the storms are going to be the worst as far as this evening is concerned. This particular one was farther north. The point in all of this is to say that two things. Number one, we do continue to have a significant severe weather risk for this evening. That has not changed. And we do anticipate we'll probably be doing some wall-to-wall severe weather coverage tonight. This is the lower confidence of our opportunities for severe weather. The confidence in tomorrow remains the same, that we're talking about severe weather and that there now has been this upgrade to a level 5 out of 5 risk. Again, this is math, more opportunity, more storms, more chance to see tornadoes. And so that's why that zone is highlighted there for the greater percentage wise within a probability of a point there to see tornadoes just because of what happens both prior to dawn or, well, really pretty much after dawn, but during the day on your Saturday. So it's easy to say when we're not in the bullseye in Oxford, this is still a pretty hefty tornado threat. It's just not as extremely significant as locations south and east there. So all of that to say, the two main things, what we said before, still holding true. Make sure you have a way to find out you're in the danger zone. WTVA's weather call should be that way. And make sure that you know where your area storm shelters are. Of course, we have that list at WTVA.com. It has individual addresses on there that you can see as well. Those are the two things to definitely reference. I'll have updates on this, of course. We'll have our next update on TV starting at 4 p.m. I'll have updates at 5 and 6 and 10 o'clock tonight as we go through this. And as necessary, live coverage we'll have here. And we'll, of course, have it on air in the WTVA weather and news apps. Again, this evening, I want to revert to this one last time before we're done. I'm going to get rid of that first hail thing. It's throwing me off on my tabs. But this evening, know that this is not going to be everybody with tornadoes this evening, but I do anticipate tornado watches. And when a watch is issued, that means the conditions are in place, the ingredients are nearby that could lead to the development of a tornado. Watch is kind of like when you prep to, make some kind of food. Hold on. Whatever reason, my watch doesn't want to stop. There we go. So when you kind of prep to make food, right, you get all the ingredients out ready to go. That's what a watch is. The ingredients are there. They've yet to be fully combined. A warning is when those ingredients have been combined to produce whatever fruit or weather there is. And so watches come first. Watches are issued hours in advance in some cases, maybe not quite hours in advance if you're on the development side of things. And so when those watches are issued is when we need to be getting to our safer location and then actually go into that safe place when that warning is issued. But we don't need to be driving across town when warnings are issued. That's placing us in our most vulnerable situation, cars and trucks and things of that nature. Okay, so we do expect some of those tornado warnings tonight. And then obviously tomorrow is when we expect a lot more of those with the multiple opportunities. And in between overnight, there are chances as well. So keep it here for the very latest information. We'll have updates, of course, starting at 4 p.m. and then throughout the evening. Y'all be safe. I'll go ahead and pray again one more time. God, just help my voice to hold up on this. Help people to make wise choices. I know there's a lot of anxiety out there that's just natural in this situation. And instead, empower people with the peace that only comes from you that defies understanding as you lead them to make correct choices. And to follow your lead in this. Keep people safe. Keep my family safe. And thank you for this opportunity to speak with them. Praise in Jesus' name, amen. Okay, we will see you again at 4 o'clock. I'll leave this up here for just a moment. Again, for those people that, do come in at the very last second here, main reason we're doing this is just to make sure everyone has an update that unfortunately that has occurred. Not a big shock. And I don't think our our discussion on this hasn't changed at all from what we said earlier. I think it all applies. This is just another tool to convey what we believe to be true, which is that damaging severe thunderstorms producing tornadoes are possible in multiple instances over the next 24 hours. So prepare accordingly. Make sure you know where to shelter, and updates starting at 4 o'clock. We will have live streams going as necessary here. Um, I cannot guarantee we're going to have live streams going all night long where we're talking the entire time, especially if we're not, fully live on the air. I have to watch my voice because tomorrow it's going to be necessary and I have drainage and I'm doing my best to take care of it, but there's a finite number of words I have between now and the end of this event. I'm going to have to choose the times where I use them wisely. Okay? So we will see you guys come up here at 4 o'clock. Be safe.